So there's a big question that a lot of people have to weigh up in their lives. And that is the question of whether they want to spend their time doing something that earns a lot of money or something that they really love doing or that has some kind of strong sense of connection with what they want to do, right? And it's a tale as old as time, and no one really knows the answers for this question. But I have realised recently that doing the former, spending lots of time working in a job that you don't really like but it earns you good money, has a hidden cost involved in it that isn't immediately apparent. So what this is basically, myself, I'm doing the former at the moment, you know. I have a lot of creative side projects that I want to do, that long term I want to earn money from doing. But I recognised once I graduated university that I wasn't in a stage to be able to earn money from any creative projects, right? So I've got to get a normal job to keep the lights on, so to speak, right? And so, you know, I mean, I've jumped around with jobs a bit, but at the moment I'm working as an accountant, right? Which is a classic example of just a job that you do because you want money, because it's dealing with a lot of numbers. It's can be quite boring, you know. But it's a very important job, and people need someone to do it, so you can earn good money from it, right? And I thought to myself, yeah, get a job. This keeps the lights on, and I can build something on the side, right? And you know, I'm under no duress to say otherwise. You know, like most people who work in this kind of job, they will say something like that to you. They'll say, they might not say exactly what I've said, but they'll say, I'm not doing this job for the love of it. You know, I don't really love accounting, but I need to earn money and blah, blah, all that other kind of stuff, right? But anyway, so having lived this lifestyle of having a job that is not actually very... It's a job that is basically for the money, right? Rather than for the pleasure. I've realised a slight change in my spending habits that wasn't apparent before. Basically, when you work a job that you don't really enjoy doing, and you're spending a lot of time doing it, basically, you feel more inclined to spend money for recreation. That's one thing that I've really noticed with myself. Now, I'm not saying like it's bad to spend money per se. I actually think it's quite good to spend money. But it's what you spend money on that's the right thing. And I've taken an attitude at the moment that it's better to spend money on stuff that's going to build your life, improve your life, and reduce the amount of money you spend recreationally. What do I mean by recreational spending? Stuff like going out for meals, or going out to the pub, or just kind of random luxury things that you don't really need. That kind of stuff, I would say, is recreational spending. And I'm a strong believer that you need to reduce, if you want to like really live like if you really want to achieve your goals, I think you want to reduce the amount of recreational spending you're doing as much as possible. And it's made so much harder if you work a job that you don't like. Because when you work a job that you don't like, basically what you're doing is you're just spending a lot of time doing stuff that you don't enjoy. And that takes a toll on your mental health, if I can use that word. And like, trust me, like I have met people in this industry of tax accounting who do genuinely derive like a really strong sense of purpose from doing it, like, you know, for various reasons. Maybe they just really love numbers, or they have like experience with certain tax jurisdictions that they're interested, you know, they have personal experience and they want to help other people in a similar situation. There's all kind of reasons why people can derive a sense of purpose from tax accounting, but if you're doing a job that you don't like, if that's not you, you are basically, like, it sounds so like, I sound like a bit of a snowflake saying this, but you are putting your brain under like an amount of mental strain that reduces your mental health, and that needs your body wants to heal that by, like, after you get it, and the way people heal that is recreational spending. There's such a big thing in tax accounting of like, or just accounting generally, of like the lifestyle that you live, because you work hard and you earn a lot of money, and then it's like with that you buy the nice clothes and the nice meals and whatever, all this kind of stuff. Or like, in the city, like in London or whatever, there's such a big stereotype of like work hard, play hard there, where like you work really hard during the week, and on the weekend you go out and like party and hit all the bars and spend lots of money on alcohol. And I've spoken to a lot of people who work in London, and apparently there's just like a massive thing for cocaine. Like it's just very ubiquitous among kind of finance and these kind of big corporate jobs in the corporate culture, just because, and it's the same thing, it's because people need a release. They've been in the office, they've been spending all the time tapping away for 5 days, and they're just like they need some kind of dessert, for their labours, and that comes out in recreational spending. And it's very easy to just think that, they wanted to do that anyway, right? It's part of the culture, but I think it's only part of the culture because so many people in these kind of corporate jobs are just spending a lot of time doing stuff that they don't want to do, that they don't enjoy doing. And if you took away that desire to that all that time doing stuff that they don't want to do, you'd probably take away that desire to go out on the lash on Friday and do loads of cocaine and spend lots of money in lots of expensive bars. And I'm not criticizing it per se. I think do what you want, like have your fun, whatever. But if you're gonna go out on the lash on a Friday, do it because you genuinely want to, and it genuinely aligns with your purpose to do so. Don't do it because you've been putting yourself through mental torment through a job that you hate, and that's forced you to want to do it. You get what I mean? I think there's a difference there. And I just feel like so much of the culture of like spending culture that we see in corporate jobs is a bit chicken and the egg, but I think it comes from the fact that the work's very boring and people want to reward themselves. And yeah, I've noticed this in myself, like I'm just slightly more desperate. I'm a bit more desperate to spend money than I otherwise would be, because my job it does take a certain amount of torment to do it. Like I say, like I don't mind it. Like it's, you have to put up with it, and I don't resent it. It's just part of working in this kind of industry. But it does have that effect on my brain where I get home it hits payday, and I start thinking like, right, I spent all this time working so hard to earn this money, putting myself through this sort of low amount of mental pain. Let's spend this, let's get this out, let's make this worthwhile. And I have noticed like I'm a little bit more reckless with my spending than I should be. You know, I did a video in Belgium recently, and I it was a close one because it costed a lot of money to go out to Belgium, and I really wanted to do it. And you know, I managed to like budget correctly, and I made it to the end of the month, and I get paid at the end of this week. End of next week. And you know, I've managed to like budget effectively, but it was a close one. I'm not gonna lie to you, it was a close one, and I slightly think I would have been better off filming a video in I had plans to film another video in Wales, and I didn't because I just really wanted to spend. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, like I say, it's all turned out fine. I managed to budget correctly and whatever. But the thing is, if I truly felt authentically that no, I should go to Belgium instead of going to Wales, that would have been fine. But I slightly feel like the reason that I went to Belgium to film this video was because I wanted to spend a little bit more money on something a bit more ambitious. And the reason for that was because of the job. The job had put me in this kind of scarcity mindset of like, I want some rewards for this work. And I just think if I'd been working a job that I enjoyed a bit more, I would have been a bit more patient. I would have got the paycheck and been a bit more like, okay, this week I've got a few finances that I've got to deal with. Let's film the cheaper video, because like filming in Wales is a little bit cheaper than filming in Belgium. You know, don't have to get flights or anything like that. I'd have been a little bit more patient, and I would have been slightly more willing to just be like, oh yeah, that's fine. We'll do Wales this month. Then next month, when things are a bit more clear, then I'd do Belgium. And yeah, I've just seen that in myself, and I just think it's a hidden expense to working in a corporate job, and it's kind of unavoidable. When you have that money, you can't really stop yourself from spending. Like, it's like lifestyle inflation, right? When you earn more money, you are gonna want to spend that on more stuff, and that's exacerbated so much more when the job you have is, you don't really love it. It doesn't really resonate with you. And it's funny, that part of the reason what inspired me to make this video is I saw a reel by Jane Smith, who's this kind of, fitness influencer. And he said for like most of his 20s, he was just working for like basically minimum wage, working as a PT. And he wasn't earning lots of money from it, and all his friends were earning more money and whatever. But he always thought like but the thing is, he was doing something he enjoyed and he liked doing, and that meant that when it got to the weekend, he didn't want to go and blow loads of money on a night out because he was so tired of doing a job that he didn't want. Like he wasn't in that kind of mindset of scarcity. He was quite happy just training people at the gym. That's what he loved doing. And so in a sense, like, who's the richer person? The person who needs to spend like, go and buy a gram of cocaine on a Friday night after work, or the guy who earns less money but he can finish work and just chill, and he doesn't feel the need to spend money. And it's a difficult one, but I hope you see the point that I'm making here. And like I say, I'm someone who's at the moment like working in one of these latter jobs where I don't particularly enjoy it. I'm doing it just to get the money in. So I'm not claiming to be perfect here. I'm not claiming that you shouldn't work in like a corporate job if you have some purpose for why you're doing it. You have some kind of greater meaning that it serves. You're getting the money in for something. Then that's fine. But yeah, that's basically all I've got to say, guys. Thanks for watching as always. And if you click the top link, I'm doing some coaching at the moment. So if you're interested, it'd be great to hear from you. But apart from that, see you soon, guys. Cheers.